Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Shadow and Sun Show, and welcome back for another second breakfast, the Tuesday edition. How you guys doing today? I hope you guys had a wonderful Memorial Day weekend. We had a lot of fun here, barbecued, ate too much, lounged around, hung out with you guys, did some shopping. The usual people stuff that we always do here. Um, I hope you guys caught the video this morning where I showed off my Evermorph Dungeon Cube. This thing is I'm still playing with it. I haven't shown it to the boy yet. He was kind of busy getting ready for school. He's only got a week and a couple of days left before he graduates, but I'm sure he'll get a kick out of it. Uh, I looked around and I have their website. I will post it later for those folks wanting to go and possibly pick up one. I think they're going to be a lot of fun using, and I think I'll get a lot of use out of them. Hopefully. So what's everybody doing today? I'm going to do a little painting and a little chatting, hopefully, with you guys when you start showing up. Hey, what's up, Hungar? You know where the link is. It's been too long since we talked, dude. I've been really, really busy, and uh, you guys were on vacation over at the mom's house. I didn't want to get in the way of that. So hopefully you and I can wrap. I had a good. Hey, what's up? Stayed up painting Hero Quest minis. What was I? And sending me a freaking gigantoid pile of links. I did look up some of the stuff you told me about. I tried to find it off work today as well. Nice, nice. Yeah, the wife's got the whole week off, which is gonna mean I'm gonna have for her it's vacation. For me, it's a week long list of honeydews. I've already got like half a dozen things she wants me to do, and I'm like, yeah, I'll get like one done a day, and then I'm gonna take a nap. I'm old. I'm older than her, so I can get away with it. Uh, Thanks, Mobius. Hey, Chris, good to see you. James, yeah, those links were indeed interesting. The only problem is I've got the entirety of the Zombicide Undead or Alive, which is about 250 Western miniatures that I have. Believe it or not, out of the like 15 boxes from the Kickstarter, I opened the base box and it's got like 50 minis in it. I haven't painted a single one. I tried looking at the rule book, and it just wasn't my cup of tea. Maybe if someone who played it before could show me how it works, might be a little more into it. But as you guys know, I'm already, hugely invested in Shadows of Brimstone, which is in July, a year late, which is pretty much standard for them. It's a 2 year process, but it's got the Hell Train with a bunch of banditos to rob the train, and a bunch of ghostly banditos, and a whole train layout, and a bunch of passengers, and all kinds of crazy missions and weird Western themed minis and encounters. But then the other half of the Kickstarter is the Atlantis slash Egypt section. Each of their Kickstarters is like a twofold thing, and each of the folds has two more, or has two different. Like the map boards are double sided, so the train is a regular train or a ghost train. And on the other side of the Egyptian stuff is Atlantis. And I was looking at that, just going, "Oh my god, there's so much great stuff in it." I was really excited during the first Kickstarter almost 10 years ago, where it offered the ghost train if it had broke $1 million on the Kickstarter, which it didn't. So 10 years later, they decided, hey, you know what? We'll just do it as a full fledged half of the Kickstarter, and it looks glorious. And the Egypt stuff and the Atlantis stuff, just nice. Um, and that could show up in July, but I'm also expecting any day now, or at least in the next 30 days. The Port Haven Kickstarter from Dungeons and Lasers, which is another, half a cubic meter of plastic with the big giant sailing ship, and then the ghostly version of that, which I have no idea where I'm going to put that stuff. The Hopefully it'll be in lots of little boxes instead of like one long giant box, because it's sectional and you got to put it all together. So we'll see. But then they just announced a month or two ago the Dusk Hollow Kickstarter, which I sent you a link to, James, which is all gothic, Transylvania looking castles and rounded towers finally, and vampires and all that cool stuff, which is great because I just started getting into Vampire Wars, which is an old gothic horror miniature skirmish game, and I got some vampires down here, but I'm not touching any of that until September, October to get in the mood for that. Let's see. Yeah, I would just get the starter and some U.S. cavalry. Might do. I'll look at it. I'm going to go through the Zombicide and see how many cavalry I've got in there, and then I'm going to look in the Shadows of Brimstone and see how many cavalry I've got coming in that before I buy any more cowboys. I've got probably 400 different Western minis dating all the way back to Grenadier in 1979. I've got the original Western set and a bunch of extra Westerns. I've also got some Western minis, including an entire tribe of Native Americans that I was going to give to an ex because she was Indian, and that never happened. And they're still sitting on my bottom shelf of my desk, been sitting there for 20 years. Well, we've been here like 15 years now, and before that, they were in another box. And I've got more cowboys and Indians than I know what to do with. Even the Shadows of Brimstone had some really, really interesting Indians, the Ghost Tribe, all hopped up on Black Rock, Darkstone, I think it's called. You tried mixing gloss and mediums and dark tone, and it looks okay. What are you trying to accomplish there, James? I never, I hardly mix anything anymore. Uh, HR is making me take a class. Bah humbug. Well, I would tell those HR people to shut up, get back in the kitchen, and make you a sandwich. That is the only response I've got for you, and the only appropriate response I can think of. And James says, "Oh, sorry, I don't know how to use freaking this. Waiting on Victrix Dark Ages stuff, a 40k board game, some Frostgrave minis, and some card terrain. Nice night. Note you get a plastic terrain, which is nice too. Uh, okay. Hey, what's up, Squirrel? Oh, shade and varnish in one pass. I see. You know what's going to happen. You're gonna accidentally create the elixir of life by doing that, and just by inhaling the fumes, you will outlive us all. You got to be careful with that alchemy, brother. That or you're going to summon a demon or something, make a homunculus. You got a little guy running around messing with your minis. You wake up and they're all stacked up on top of each other. Um, so right now, before the show, I was foolishly trying to paint in the eyes. Oh, you can almost see them. There's a neon yellow for these undead marshals for their eyes. These guys are really cool. See if I can get a good close up of this guy. Hold on. Let me do the thing. Where's the thing to do the thing? So professional, folks. Oh, gosh. My hands don't work. What do you guys think? Spooky. My favorite one is this guy. He's where is he? Holding up a warrant for your arrest kind of thing. I love this one. Just freaking love this shit. Those are Shadows of Brimstone. Metal minis, I've talked about them all week. He will outlive because he lives on Brown rice and sweet potatoes. We grandma had me cook a sweet potato in the grill last night. Took like 4 hours to cook for some reason. Also need some terrain for BattleTech. Can never have too much. We used to use the old styrofoam hexes. I forget who made them. It came in a big. They looked like they literally were packaged like rice cakes, just like a loaf of bread bag filled with identical shaped hexes but different thicknesses, so you could make hills and mountains and forests and stuff. And it even came with this funky like pipe cleaner that was like thin and wide and thin and wide, and you cut it in half, and there was a pine tree. And I saw pictures of that terrain back in the day. Loved it, but we used it for Epic Space Marines. One of these days, I will break that stuff out, but oh man, it's so heartbreaking. I love that game so much, and I got no one to play it. Jackie would probably dig it, but he'd probably want to run my army, and then I'd have to go out and buy like a squat army or a chaos army to fight him. And while I have a crap ton of squats for Epic, I used them because I could either use them as my 25% allied force, or the pieces were interchangeable with a bunch of Imperial Guard. Moby says, went and did a big grocery shop Saturday, came home to a dead fridge, and a grand later, FML. Oh, that sucks. You're lucky that it only cost you a grand. I'm betting they tried to sell you one that was hooked up to the internet so you could see what's in your refrigerator from your car or something. I don't get that. Yeah, yeah. We've been very lucky with our refrigerators. I was watching a video on the old days and stuff, because it's the only thing I can relate to anymore. And we used to have repair shops everywhere. The TV repairman was a thing. He'd come to your house and fix your TV. Uh, that was a wonderful feeling when I was a kid, and this guy would come in with a big box of tubes and tools and junk, and make our TV start working again, instead of having to go and one, try to haul that big giant wooden freaking coffin out of the house, and two, that it would just it'd be fixed, it'd be fine, we could go back to watching Scooby Doo. Uh, yes, certain things do break. Like I said a while ago, when we got our brand new dryer, or was it a washing machine? He said, "Oh yeah, you'll need a new one in 2 years." I'm like, "This is brand new." It's like, "Oh yeah, they only make them to last 2 years." What the shit? Remember back in the day when getting something, with a lifetime, not warranty, but it was meant to, built to last a lifetime, and they then those evil bastards implemented the worldwide planned obsolescence policy, which is and should be a hanging offense, in my opinion. That's a good deal. We paid 600 for ours, and uh, less than a month later, our human dishwasher walked back into our house, and it's freaking ridiculous. The same effort that it takes to rinse the dishes could be used to wash the dishes, but no, grandma's got to wash the dishes, and then when she's not looking, we throw them in the dishwasher. Now, for my wife's sake and her needing things to be as clean as possible, and it having like a sterilized function until we touch it, of course, it's it's cool, but you know, I'd rather have that $600 in like anything, like a new Lazy Boy, or I don't know, PlayStation 5, anything that's actually useful. A new lawnmower, if I could find like a gas lawnmower, but that's going to be soon illegal here, in which case I'll have to spend like $1,200 to get an electric lawnmower. Your furnace is from the '60s. My house is from the '60s. Uh, it's relatively a new house because this area is relatively new. People give away a lot of stuff here rather than just dumping it. Yeah, we kind of, if we see something cool, someone's giving away or whatnot, we'll grab it. But we're kind of in the mode of clearing out space, except this room and my side of the garage. My room downstairs is immaculate, and it's the only room in the house that is that way. Because when I, set my mind to do something like that, it happens, and I'm pretty good at it. This room might be kind of cluttered and stuffed full of stuff, but this is where I do all that stuff. My one car garage side of the garage is for storage, even though it has two work tables that are easily accessible. But it we didn't know what the weather was like when I bought them, and it's either blazing hot or freezing cold out there. 9 months out of the year we get a short reprieve where I can go out there and work. And up until recently it was a disaster. I'm not going to lie. It was stacked to the rafters with boxes. My lawnmower is from the '70s. His name is Jose. Yes, my son is responsible for the backyard. I got the front yard. When Alex was living with us, his job was the front yard, except for this one patch that's really bumpy, and I didn't want him to hit the neighbor's sprinklers, so I would do that. Now I got to go back to mowing the front yard, but it's all good. I'm eternally blessed every time I turn around. Although uh, I can ask you guys a question. You guys will be honest with me, right? I went to church Sunday, and nice service. We've got this Pakistani guy who's got a really interesting voice. Parts of it grate on my nerves, but other parts of me like really appreciate the time he took to develop his voice in a certain way. And leaving church, he's kind of a big guy. But he's kind of fat. I'm not gonna lie, which bothers me because you know we have one priest who's skinny as freaking a skeleton, and he's my favorite right now. But he wasn't there yesterday. But walking out, he was also the guy that gave me my first confession unknowingly or not paying attention to what I said and forgave me of 60 years of debauchery with the three Our Fathers, and uh, I'll take that as a bonus. But walking out, decided to shake his hand, and he gives me one of these, just like the flipper, just cringiest, weakest, limp noodleest of handshakes. Is that something I should expect from all my priests, or am I going to get a freaking hey man, good to see you, you know, manly handshake, or is that just not a thing in the priesthood? Don't get me wrong, I like all these guys; they're all nice, but it's just like I'm going to the wrong church. I mean, it's a lovely church and lovely services, and we had the A team there for in the choir, and it was just it was great. But I've always had a thing about handshakes, uh, freaking, feel free to throw your comments in there. I'm making too much out of it. I can't ask the boy because he gets all pissed off when I say anything negative about the church, and it's like, hey, I'm new to this whole thing, trying to learn what to do, what not to do, because it's different. Everybody's got different ways of showing their reverence and faith when we're in there. Some people are standing up and bowing and kneeling and doing all kinds. Everybody does something different there. It seems, raising their hands like this, or praying like this, or like this, or like this, or like that. I'm like, what's the right way? I'm trying to watch the boy, see what he does. Probably overtaking it. Thanks, James. I've always had a pet peeve with weak handshakes. It's like I instantly infer things from people's handshakes, what kind of person they are. I get it. He shakes hands all day long, probably, but just put her there, pal. How's it going? Good to see you. Oh, it's you. I don't know. I'll let it slide. So, what do you guys got going on for the summer? Anything exciting? Anything back? What I miss? I was asking about weak handshakes for my priest. That's what you missed. My priest for Sunday, he gave me one of these, instead of one of these. How you doing? And I just, it's just, you know, just, and he's a big guy. You'd think that, he could just like, just put her there, pal. How's it going? But no. But yeah, I'm almost done with my big old starship, and probably not this month, but next month I'm going to order probably another one so I can make it even bigger. Jackie had a great game Saturday with all the boys and girls playing. They had a bank heist. Unfortunately, he had to do one of those. Mind you, it's only like his fifth game he's ever dungeon mastered, but he had to do uh, uh, he's a Catholic priest from India or Pakistan. Big guy, kind of fat. But he did one of those things where he had to like rewind a big chunk of the game because they made a big mistake, so they had to rewind the session, and he wasn't happy about that. It's like, well, got to pay attention, make notes, and thanks, Squirrel. I'll ponder that after the show. Um, he like his old man likes to put some things off to the last minute. Like I've already started asking him, okay, what terrain are you going to need for the next game? Blah blah blah. He's like, I don't know. It's like 2 weeks away. I'm like, yeah, and I would already be making notes right after the game, which is what you should do. Fresh in your mind. The game's over. Okay, what are they going to do? Write your notes of what they did. Write your notes of what could happen, what they said they want to do. Um, you know what I mean? Uh, my Sunday game was a lot of fun. A whole session of combat. The players are in this big giant control panel room with a central metal spiral stairway leading up to the top of the giant flying airship. Hey, what's up, George? And and in the room they were fighting were basically like kind of not exactly, but the closest thing I can say without revealing what they actually are is like cyborg hobgoblins. And at the time there was like 175 of them minus 20 or so that they'd killed the session before, just surrounding them. They've got walls of thorns and entangle spells defending them, and all kinds of you know uh, stuff, including a rifle that can either fire magic missiles or some sort of just blast damage. Max says, I broke it to the wife yesterday that I blew 350 on minis terrain and a spiral binding machine this weekend. What's the problem? I mean, unless you're going to go into debt, or a bill's not going to get paid, or you're eating into somebody's college fund or something like that. Uh, I have a budget, and uh, that's between me and eBay. The wife does not get to, she doesn't involve herself with my finances, and I pay the bills that I'm supposed to pay, and she pays the bills that she's supposed to pay, and she can do what she wants with her money. I don't question it, but sure as shit, she can question what I spend my money on. It could be worse. I spent about, well, it doesn't matter. I spent a lot of money on guns about 4 years ago, and then I stopped. I'm just like, I got what I need. I'm good. I got a bunch of ammo, cleaning kits, blah blah blah. The only thing I need now is like a better gun safe, maybe, just because I want one that fits in a specific location. And I stopped buying guns. I could have spent the last 4 years hobby games, gaming, books, and DVD, expenditures on things like that. But I didn't. Uh, yeah, yeah, yeah. They never understand, and I never question, her. One of these days, I'm going to take a picture of her bathroom versus mine. Mine's got 5 items on the shelves, and it's too many for her sensibilities because other people use that restroom, including her mom and guests. Then there's my toothbrush, soap dish, my water pick, my electric toothbrush, hand soap, and I think that's it, right? Oh, and I've got a heater that I plug in occasionally when it's really cold. A little tiny little electric heater. That's it. She's got her own bathroom, and it's like the cover of the Unearthed Arcana. I kid you not, with bottles and jars and vials and spray, you know, you name it. Just probably over 100 bottles of stuff, just all over the freaking place. Never say, every once in a while I'll tease her about it, like her witch's laboratory, kind of thing. And jewelry and crap like that. She wants, she hints like, oh, I really like those earrings. It's so and so, around Christmas and her birthday, that kind of thing. Sure, no problem. There you go. Happy birthday. Whatever. No question. The dumbest shit you could buy, in my opinion, is makeup and jewelry. But that's her gig. Enjoy. It's life, right? But I ordered this freaking dumb thing, that's gonna give me hours and hours of amusement and giggles, this dungeon cube, you know, and when all those chemicals are gone and she has to buy them again, I'll still have this thing. Hopefully, knock on wood, right? Life, money spent, RPG, most never understand, right? I always pay my bills, but I need to slow down. I haven't yet left the Middle Ages. It will get worse when I invest in when I invent the musket. Right. I get that. He pared down his collection and is now rebuilding it. Uh, Believe it or not, I watched this video on 10 or 20 financial spending habits of people in the Great Depression. And it turned out the very first one is the very first thing I do every month. I From my check, I put money into savings. First thing I do, I put a certain amount of money, have for years and years and years. I put that in shaving and never touch savings. I saw shaving here, uh, and I don't touch it. It's been there for a long time. First thing, saving for rainy day, college, whatever. Next thing is bills. Bills are taken care of. Whatever's left is mine to do with whatever I want. I always pay my bills. I need. Okay, sorry. Mac, example of contemporary wife logic in America: $90 haircut, fine. $12 latte, fine. $75 takeout, fine. Husband buys $7 used book. Why are you wasting money? Because women don't read anymore. It's a rare woman that I find that actually reads a book. Like just I don't even care if it's some trashy, Lust in the Dust book. That's better than nothing, right? In the entire time I've known my wife, she's read 2 books: Lady Diana's autobiography or whatever, and Bill Clinton's. And I'm like, oh my god, I should have seen the signs back then, but I didn't because I wasn't paying attention. Ree basically lets me do my hobbies and would probably accept a mistress if the mortgage went down. Just pray she doesn't have one. You know what I'm saying, bro? These days, you never know. Right, Chewy? Oh, hey, Chewy, I got something for you, buddy. You've been a good boy. Grim, our good friend Grim to see, sent Chewy this little bag of treats. You saw not last Saturday, but the Saturday before on the live stream when I opened the box he gave me. Chewy knew these were in there. He could freaking smell them. Hey, why are you licking that? That is not. Oh my god, he was licking my tablet. I have to kill my dog now. Excuse me, guys. Don't do that. That's nasty. Now I have to sterilize it and buy a new one. Eat your treat and go away. We'll go do doggy stuff. I don't know. I don't have time to pet you. I'm doing a live show, bud. Do another routine. One left. Yeah, yeah, don't do that, James. More than one woman hanging off your chain is just not. It never ends well. It never, ever, ever ends well. I challenge you to go through history and find me a situation other than the guy who wrote Wonder Woman, and that was the one exception that I know of the rule. Him and his wife and their mistress. Yikes! Now I know why folks didn't want their daughters reading Wonder Woman back in the day. My mom told me about that when she was a kid. Her mom wouldn't let her read Wonder Woman, and she made some comment that I didn't understand, and now I do. And apparently, Grandma was right. Wow, things were freaky back in the 30s. I guess crazy. So that's what I got going on right now. I am almost finishing up some projects. The spaceship's almost done. The the undead marshals are almost done. The giants are. I hate to say this, but I'm kind of waiting for my skill level to get a little better. Those memory muscles to get a little better, because every time I touch them, it just feels like I'm just doing the same thing over again, adding more layers and highlights, and I'm like, some of them look just freaking fine, but I because they're so um, epic, and it came from a really good friend, that being Cal. I really want to do like as good a job on them as I did with the giant Balor demon, which is insane because I've been looking on Dungeons and Lasers for some stuff, and every once in a while I come across that thing, and I got that as a free stretch goal, and it's now selling for like $150 on eBay. You can go to Archon Studios and find it for like $65. Cost you another like 30 or 40 for shipping from Poland, of course. But just like, wow, next time pay a little more attention. Maybe grab a second one of the big bonus stretch goals, because it turned out. I'm wondering when Jackie's going to go. Hey, I want Dad. Can I use that? I'm like, be careful, sport. That one's I spent like between 3 and 5 months on that one. She generates a lot of tidying up, though. Minis and books and paint are low discretionary spending comparing to wine, women, and song, right? Take care, Mobius. I would know. It's been over 2 decades since I did any of that. What about when we drink wine, sing, and read the book while the woman gives us a Hummer? I think that would be good multitasking. Absolutely. But she'd probably want us to be reading some freaking, you know, romance novel or poetry. Hey, what's up, Dean? I could use a glass of red, to be honest. Might do pasta later in the week to justify it. Thanks, James. I try, but it for me it really boils down to that. If I'm not like really like I cannot wait to paint that many. Hold on a second. Thanks again, Archon Studios, for the back scratcher. It is the perfect, absolute perfect door closer, um, and back scratcher. Um, if I'm not thoroughly like I said, I can't wait to freaking paint X miniature. Like I'll be downstairs. I'm like, I'm gonna go up and paint. Do I got time? You know, then I don't do my best work, and it'll feel like a job, and it should never be that. Especially like when you're doing rank and file guys. Just do a couple at a time, put them to the side, go over here, do something else, and go back to them. Uh, I like when I do rank and file. I like to find a way, if I can, when I assemble them, to make them unique. If I can, if they're like a multi-part pose instead of the one static, just a spearman and rows of those guys. I'm not a fan of that. But try to either swap out some heads, and give them a different head or something like that, or just do something to make them look a little different, even if it's just to weather them a little more, make them look like they fell down and got their knees all stained or something, or some try to find some way, maybe give them 5 o'clock shadow or something, just to break it up and make it feel like it's not, or I'm not one of those little Chinese kids, painting up Whiz Kids minis, because this is supposed to be fun. It's not a job unless it is a job, and if it is a job, good luck to you, because a job like that seems to me that it can't really sustain itself indefinitely. There will come a time when all the minis are painted and people stop even using minis. You guys ever think about that? A generation from now or two, your grandkids have no concept of playing with toys, and all they care about is the next video that they're supposed to watch because it's that time, versus playing with Hot Wheels or Legos or action figures or a board game with the family or putting together a puzzle. All those things we used to do. It's funny. I mentioned puzzles. I not a big fan of them, but every once in a while I think back of the family time we used to have at least once a week, a board game night or puzzle night, and I kid you not, right behind the dinner table was this like wall unit of things, and two shelves were taken up with just puzzles. And sometimes we just break out a puzzle, and the four of us would sit there and just put it together and sit around the table and talk, um, before my whole family drastically changed because my brother started doing drugs, and my mom was doing drugs and alcohol. My dad was slowly losing his health to various things. And I look back on those times, because like I said, I don't like puzzles. I don't do them. I haven't had the desire to do a puzzle, but as I'm getting older and nostalgic and thinking about things, and especially thinking about all the things in our hobby that the powers that be would like to see disappear, knowing full well, you guys ever think about that, how if the bad guys got their way, they'd still have all this stuff, but we wouldn't. You'd own nothing and be happy. Where uh, they'll have those big libraries full of real books, and they'll have their game room and their trophy room or whatever, and all our stuff will be in it. You guys ever think like that, or is that just me and I'm just a weirdo? Today's mini shipment consists of about 80 goblins, warg riders, in cemetery ruins. Been running on 6 goblins for 30 years. Don't feel bad. I have I have a bunch of old heritage miniature goblins that will never be painted, and to this day, they're still my favorite of all the goblins I've ever seen. I've got about a dozen from uh, Archon Studios that I don't like. They're too spindly and just fiddly. I'm not a big fan. I don't have any orcs in my collection except again for heritage lead miniature orcs. Lead miniature heritage bugbears are the best bugbears you will ever see. Go look them up. The bugbear that's got the big spiked club and wearing a shield as like a piece of plate armor. Go look that one up. You'll thank me. Bear would like to join the show. Hey there, hi there, ho there, brother. What's happening?
Yeah, I don't know if like is the word I would use. Bear felt bad that you were all by yourself talking about horrible things and thought he'd come keep you company.
No, no, not at all. I didn't really get a chance to talk about some of this stuff over the weekend. But glad to see you, or at least your current avatar. you have a good
Yeah,
weekend?
sorry, I'm working, and there are people renovating a bathroom in my apartment, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So
Don't
camera's
sweat it, man.
off. Mic is on my headset. That's why I don't sound as good as I normally do. But yeah, I'm here. Hi.
Thanks for popping in. I sorry about the other day.
Whatever, dude.
See, no. My wife was home, and she's going to be home all week, which is
Is that better? Can
not
you hear me clearer now?
sure, which is not ideal. And I didn't know she was going to be home, so I had to get the girls out quick. No,
Uh huh.
so in the morning she sort of interrupted my normal regular schedule. You know, make breakfast, get Jackie off to school, but he didn't have school because Memorial Day, and then brush my teeth, comb my hair, and come up here for the show. But in trying to do all that, she's like me, in my ears. I'm trying to, type up the, how it is when you schedule a show on Restream. You got to do all these little things, and one of those things includes sending you the link. And I just spaced, dude.
It's all
I
good,
feel
man.
really bad.
Again, it's all good.
I know. Just
No
wanted
need
you to
to
know the
apologize.
truth. I did space. That's just I feel shitty about it
All
because
good.
you're probably the most consistent brother of mine that shows up for this. So I really appreciate that, and I should be better about that.
That's fine. Nothing wrong with that at all. But yeah, no, we're good. We're good. We're good. We're good.
You have a good game
Trying
this
to.
weekend or games?
No, all the games this weekend I put on the table. I put on the shelf because I was having a real shit weekend, and then we did
Hmm.
play heroic last night, and that's up on the Patreon.
That's not good.
Why? Why is that not good that it's on the Patreon?
No. I mean that you're having a shit weekend.
Yeah, well, that's what it is.
Yeah, we get those every once in a while. Except this week I get a whole week of that because the wife's going to be home with a bunch of honeydew things. For her it's a vacation because she gets to watch me do honeydew list things, and I instead of doing what I want to do, which is usually write or nap, uh, that will be curtailed. Not a fan. Not a fan at all.
I hear you. I hear you. It might get a little loud. I do apologize. They're installing the new bathtub.
Yeah, no worries. We've had worse on the show.
Oh, we've had penis.
Yes. Unfortunately, we have. Uh, why why we couldn't have some tiggle bitties that aren't like two fried eggs on a nail? I don't know.
Well,
Um,
because you attract the crazies. Haven't you figured this out yet?
I well, yes, but they're the good kind of crazies. There are kind of
Not
crazies.
always. Not always.
Hey, we've
Not
cut out
always.
most of the bad crazies. I don't think there's too
Slowly.
many. Uh, I really can't think of maybe one or two that are left, and I don't know exactly their. I've always had this theory. Once you know what a person's crazy is, you know enough about them to either keep them at bay, keep them really close, or ignore them and avoid them at all costs.
Well, everything goes the way it goes, right? You do what you got to do. And I'm a big fan of just, walking away. Just going, you know what? Is this worth it? Is sticking this out and debating this with this human being going to benefit my life in any way, shape, or form? Or is it just going to cause me anxiety, stress, and piss me off? I have my answer. Cool. Now I know what to do.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
People stay in the fight sometimes way longer than they should, and it makes no sense. But they do it because they have that never quit attitude, that never say
Or
die.
what's it called? When you've invested so much time in a thing.
Sunk
But
cost fallacy.
thank you. Yeah. I just watched a refresher course on some of those, and I couldn't remember that one's
Huh?
technical name. Yeah, yeah. cut your losses while you can.
Well, yeah, exactly. I'm sorry. I'm just giving my lunch here while I'm talking to you, so I do apologize for any
What are you
noise.
having? A couple of 2x4s?
No, that's them making shit in the bathroom, and they're about to put the new tub in.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, well, good luck with
But now
that.
I'm back in my office, so I don't have to worry about that anymore.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of people working in
And
the house
me
when
neither.
at all. Especially
But
me.
yeah, well, that's because you're a lazy prick.
Yeah,
But
I am.
I'm not. It's not my option. I don't get to make this call. This is, 100% necessary
Mhm.
to fix all the problems in the apartment building. So, you know, what are you gonna do? It is
Just
what it is.
suck it up and be magnanimous about it or some such.
You guys, hang on a second. Eh, Hang on a second, just a second.
No worries, man. No worries.
Eric, do you guys need to come in this way? You can come in if you need to. Yeah, I don't want you guys hurting yourselves. Come on, that would be bad.
But it could be funny.
No worries. Don't forget you got a bunch of styrofoam on the bottom.
Ah, son of a. That reminds me, I've got a bunch
Excellent.
of styrofoam I got to get rid of.
Good luck, guys.
I'm. I. Hey, what's up, Kennedy? I'm still getting rid of styrofoam from years and years of misplaced uh, dreams of making a styrofoam castle.
Uh, I had stuff like that in my life, and then I just realized I'm going to throw all this shit out, and that's just going to be life. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, with me and the boy, it was a viable possibility for a while, but we missed that window. And then I discovered a different kind of styrofoam, and I'm like, yeah, I want to do it out of that. And I still, there's no chance that's happening unless I get a whole nother room just for that particular project.
Well, you can always look at it when you move, right?
That's the goal. Uh,
I mean,
I,
look,
I have a
we
dream
both know
of
your wife's not going to Texas, so you're going to be a single man,
a.
So,
Here's the thing. I, I'm a pessimist and an optimist at different times of the you know year, month, week, day, what have you. What's up, off grid? And I know what they have planned for California, and they're things my wife just can't. She just can't endure. Financially and things like that. And if it keeps up, she'll it'll be her idea, and I'll be like, yeah, let's do that. And it might not end up being Texas. It would probably be best to be Texas for her. That way, she's like really close to other family. That would make her happy, and me too, because then I'd have uh, grandnieces or whatever they're called. I don't know, and nephews that I could teach the hobby and at least uh, tell stories and things like that. And show them the games and the minis and all that cool shit. Um, and if that happens, cool. Made a styrofoam tower out of packing material, pretty coolio. Uh, uh, Round towers have always been one of those projects that I always wanted to make, and every time I've tried, it only got so far. One castle or one tower I tried to make, it's only going to be about this round, but I made it out of hand rolled balls of clay. Uh, Not knowing any other way to do it, I got some paper clay and I roll a brick, put it down, roll a brick, put it down. It got to be about this high before it ended up being a pencil holder, and that was it. What can be sliced to? I prefer fucking James. Oh my god, that's so nasty.
speaking of James, where's the other one?
No idea, no idea whatsoever. I saw him this weekend for a bit. He's taken to doing live streams at the most inopportune times I could possibly think of. for
such
whatever
as.
reason. Like 5 o'clock at night, my time,
Oh, wow.
midnight, just
Mid-
crazy times. It's like,
Midnight your time?
yeah,
It's like 3 a.m.
I could be way off, but it seemed like that to me. And I just I've got kind of a pretty set schedule, and I like to keep it that way. I get more done. The way it was a couple months back, doing live streams, up until 3:30 when Jackie would, get out of school. Just I was getting nothing done in the middle part of the day, which is when I write, because there's the fewest people here in the house, and I can just sit at the dinner table and write. I don't know what that's going to be like now that Jackie's going to be home from school at random intervals, and Grandma's now here, and she likes to watch TV in the same room as the dining table, and that's kind of distracting.
Yeah, stupid person watching TV.
Well, she's got a TV in her room,
Yeah, but she
and,
wants to be around humans.
well, yeah, but I don't really qualify.
Yeah, you do.
And she's innocuous, and doesn't mean any harm, and she's not trying to you know do shit, but I'm just I like my solitude, I guess. I don't know. um, Over the years I've been cultivating that that lifestyle more and more. So you got anything cool coming up? Any new projects, anything like that?
Sorry, eating my lunch. Hang on.
Oh, no worries. Yeah, I'm trying to. I've got a little list going of the game slash genres that I want to participate in, and I'm working on those slowly but surely. But
Well, for me, StarQuest is done. Just needs
mhm.
to be edited and all that and laid out. Um, Shane and Marco are supposed to be working on the revision of Valorous, so that's out of my hands.
Mhm.
We're still waiting on art and money to finish Heroic Phase Rip
Mhm.
because it costs money. Um, Damnation, we're just playtesting. I don't have any plans to publish it. And Heroic 5e, I'm working on the version 2 of the playtest right now. It's
Hmm.
going to be an awesome game when it's ready. And all of you grognards won't play it, and that's fine. And hopefully I can replace you with people who actually will play 5e, and they'll go like, this is awesome. This is like the superhero game we've been waiting for. And then give me money so I can survive. No, dude, I'm not even remotely joking on that.
I'm sure it'll do well, fine, great.
I don't think it
Uh,
will. I
best of
think I'm
luck to
too.
you.
I think I'm too much of a free thinker for the 5e crowd.
Well, um, a couple things. If you put it out like drive through, and you can get some word of mouth out there, etc., to the right people. Uh, Maybe even reach out to some of the bigger people, and say, hey, I did this thing. What do you think? And
Maybe when it's
send
ready,
them a
we'll see.
PDF. There's because there's like two, three, or four like levels or classes of dungeon tuber. I've noticed. You
Yeah,
got your big 5e guys that are doing all that. Big numbers, big audiences, etc. Down to little folks like you and me. See if you can't submit a PDF to one or two of them. See what they
maybe
think,
we'll
and
see.
do that kind of thing. Now, don't. Me personally, I'm, except for I'm in my Sunday D&D game, and it's as far from D&D as possible, I think. And then
By
I'm in
Pirates of Gay Water? Yeah.
it's still 2.5 years running.
Hmm.
Uh,
Listen, when
I'll-
guys are into those butts, they're gonna pound away for time immemorial.
and then Bloodworth's Dragon Slayer game, which is ending in August, which is right around the corner. I'll be taking a sort of already taking a break from traditional fantasy, whether it be sword and sandal to you know on up. I've done it all. I was trying to think, of what kind of a like D&D fantasy, whatever you want to call it, game that would like get me like really, really, really excited in playing. And there's only one thing that that, that 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 gets me a little excited, and that's the one thing that no one will do ever, and that's like real domain play, real, um, not necessarily high power, but like high level. Like in all the D&D games, if you got to a certain level, you could build a castle, start a kingdom, that kind of stuff. No one can do that. No one knows how or wants to or whatever. I can't really narrow down what the barrier is that keeps people from doing that kind of thing. Um, but that's what I'm looking for. What's up,
Nice.
off grid?
Man.
Nice. Man, every time I see your place, man, I am so freaking jealous. You guys built all that shit.
Oh, I got the wrong camera on. I'm gonna switch that.
Oh, what you got a camera that's going to make it look even better? Come on, dude. That's
Bigfoot.
glorious.
I got the front facing camera on.
Oh, okay. Well, you know what? Okay.
Let's see if I can change that.
I'm on the
Okay,
edge of
no,
my
that's
seat.
putting it. Okay.
Hey, don't sweat it, dude. We'll just take a tour of
Anyways,
your
It's
lovely
Bigfoot.
estate.
I mean, sorry. Hey, how you doing, man?
Hey, man, I got to
let's
ask
go.
you. I heard some troubling news about you.
About me.
Yeah, it kind of bummed me out, man. I don't know the details. I'm just gonna say I heard you weren't gonna be able to make it to the con, and
Oh
I
yeah,
felt
yeah. Oh
I
yeah, that's true. Kind of bit onto it, but logistically it didn't really work out. It's just too
too
short of
far.
notice to make it work, and too far because it's like 5 hours each way.
Which con?
Central
Central
New
New
York.
York.
Mm. Yeah, fuck. I'm not going down to that.
Well, they also want 300. I think it's $320 a night for the
For the
hotel.
hotel? Fuck
Dude,
yeah.
dude. What?
American.
George and Dave said they'd hook you up and you could share their room.
Oh, I know, and I appreciate that. I do appreciate that. Just I'm not much of a couch sleeper at my age, and I have sleep apnea, so I have to like set up a machine and all that stuff.
Oh, I
I
You're
don't
gonna
didn't
make
really
it to
wish all that
Claricon this year,
racket on
right?
anybody. I'm gonna try for Claricon. I think what I'm gonna do is like just to save on the money is to go up for one day, like go up on basically miss the morning session on a Saturday and just due to traveling up there, and then play the 2 sessions and then drive home.
No, I'm going to have a
That-
Saturday afternoon game. So,
Okay.
since 2
Well, I'm
years in a
not
row
going to
you've missed
promise
my
you I'm going to
games.
play in yours because it's a long
I
way to
know.
travel and there's a lot of choices.
I know. That's okay. Fuck me. I get it. 2 years in a row you signed up for my games. 2 years in a row you couldn't play them. I get it. Third year's a charm, baby. Whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. I found I've narrowed my likes down to pretty much fantasy. That's where my wheelhouse is, and I don't think it's yours.
No, it's not like I
Dude,
ever made a fantasy game or anything like that, or ran a fantasy game at
I
Claricon,
think
or
he's referring to
have
me.
created multiple fantasy fucking settings. No, I don't. You're right. I'm a one-note creator. Superheroes all the way, baby.
He was referring to me, I'm certain, because I put it to everybody the other day. I literally have played 100 different fighters at least, okay, in fantasy RPGs. At least. The same with not clerics, the same with thieves, magic users, assassins, rangers, about a dozen paladins, at least a dozen druids, a whole shitload of multi-class characters in fantasy role-playing games, ranging from sword and sandal, Bronze Age, all the way up to high fantasy. And I couldn't think of a starting brand new first level anybody that I could get interested in, knowing that I'll never make it to name level, high level. Even if they said, well, we're going to start out, at fourth or fifth level like we did with another game, it's never going to happen. The chance of survival on top of then, not just the character survival, but the game survival, etc. I've done it. I've played damn near 1,000 characters, and I need, I want to do something different,
Mhm.
and that's hard. Most of the people we know as really good DMs, uh, they got their range. They can go from here to here, and that's their sweet spot. And the likelihood that it's going to go beyond that, is dependent on the group, life getting in the way, boredom, burnout, player, shenanigans and things like that. There's a whole lot of barriers that keep a game from going the distance and getting into what I would like to play. Even if it was just someone said, "All right, you got a ninth level fighter, like average stats, average everything, and you just managed to, build this tiny little castle, and you got 100 dudes. What do you do?" I'd be like, "Holy shit! Oh my god, I got all kinds of ideas already," you know. But that's never going to happen, and that's like the bare minimum of what I'm looking for. Even if I'd rather play a magic user or a thief than a fighter. That's still something that I haven't done, that I've always striven for, but it's too much, man. And so I'm gonna have to
Yeah.
write that game, which I started working on about a year ago, and we'll see how that goes. I don't know. Has anybody ever felt that way out there? I knew you off grid. You actually got to
But writing a room,
get
I'm
to
working on
that
a
point.
setting right now.
No. I mean the whole like domain play. You the whole like domain play. You got an echo going on there, man.
I do.
It's got to be
Apparently,
you.
there's
Can't
an
be
echo going on there, man. Oh, I could do this all day.
Crap here. Like I'm over my Wi-Fi, and then I stepped outside, and then it started acting wonky. I have like the outer, the cell phone tech turned on. I had that turned off so it doesn't kill the battery. And then I stepped outside and I got a whole 2 bars, and then I had the camera issue. Tech isn't my friend. I don't think it's anybody's friend, but definitely not my friend. I'm back.
Hold on. All right. Yeah, he was getting the echo. Well, hey, Squirrel, welcome back. But that's where I sit right now with fantasy. I'm just gonna take a break. Maybe someone will come up with a low level hook that grabs me. Otherwise, I'm working on playing some sci-fi, playing some modern contemporary, maybe some western. Although that's not really, it's not grabbing me like it used to right now. We'll see. We'll see. I've got some ideas that are things I've never seen before, and that's always like where I try to start from. Other people making games that are you know too similar to other things out there. I just like I don't get it. I would never make like your traditional, you know, zero to hero fantasy RPG without trying real hard to come up with some weird or unusual drastic change. Like with Shadow Dark, the whole torch thing to me is not enough. The artwork's pretty damn good. Not gonna lie, but just trying to get me afraid of the dark um,
Well,
doesn't work.
I agree with that. I don't know if you know who Notepad Anon is, but he did his review of Shadow Dark, and he goes 50 years of innovation, and we have a torch mechanic. Like that's your 50 years, and it's like, and he's right, and he said it best. He goes, I don't want to dislike you, Shadow Dark. It's not your fault, but the people who are going to buy you want the same thing over and over and over and over and over. It's like when I was a kid, and my dad and I would take a road trip. Every restaurant, I'd order a club sandwich. And one day he looks at me and goes, why do you always order the club sandwich? Don't you want to try something else? And I went, listen, if they can't get a club sandwich right, there is nothing else in this restaurant I want to eat. You know what I mean? So I get it. The familiarity is nice, but as I get older, I want to try different things.
Yep. Yep. Uh,
And I've just had enough. I've had enough of fantasy class level D&D. I just had enough of it. Now, that's ironic and maybe a little bit hypocritical since I'm making a 5e superhero game, but it's a fucking superhero game. It's not Dungeons and Dragons all over again, fantasy delving.
no,
I'm having a lot of
it's
fun.
literally capes and cowls, right? Masks.
Yeah, yeah.
That's not that's not the same thing. Yes, there are versions, class level, etc. versions of superhero games, but if you haven't found one that
They all
does
suck.
everything you want,
They all
then
suck. And I'll tell you why. I've told you this before, and I'll tell you why again. The reason they all suck is every game someone sent me said, well, they did it. Same problem. I'm a level 10 Superman. I'm going to multi-class as a level 3 Spider-Man. It's like, no. Your character classes cannot be superhero types. You can't have a speedster class. You can't have a paragon class. You can't have a stealthy ninja class. And that's what I did different. I'm not saying anything more about it
some
because
of
when
those
it comes out,
classes I
you're going
can
to see.
see, some not so much. I gotta say I really did like
Not for
Palladium.
superheroes.
The
Oh,
way they
fuck
did
off. Heroes Unlimited. Oh, please.
Really?
And people who are serious about superhero games, no one plays that game.
What was so bad about it, other than the class thing that you were talking about?
It's badly designed. It's not a good superhero game. It was really okay. So like Villains and Vigilantes has levels, okay,
Yeah,
but it's a great superhero game.
Yeah.
Right. Mutants and Masterminds has power level. Technically, it's not really levels, but it's a great fucking game. When you start doing classes in a superhero game, and this is just for me, and this is why Heroic 5e is different, the class needs to determine not what they do, how they do it. Understand the difference? The fundamental difference right there? So I could have, and I have 8 classes, one for each of the attributes because I added 2 attributes, or ability scores, whatever you want to call them. So let's say, for example, I'll tell you one that I've already spoken about. I have one called Bruiser, right? Bruisers, the entire design of the class of Bruiser is that they just believe in doing as much impact and as much damage as they can in attacking. That's what they want to do. So I could have a Bruiser who's a brick, a super strong guy. I could have a Bruiser who's a speedster, and their entire thing is about just getting in there and hitting the people as hard as they can, as fast as they can. I could have a psionicist who's a Bruiser. They just overwhelm your mind with psionic energy and just relentlessly assault you, That changes how it works. Because when you have the class determine how they do, not what they do, it doesn't make the powers or the feats or any of the other things, or I call them talents, you're going to have added to the character that determine what they do play second fiddle to the class, which is already determining a lot of stuff for you. In this case, the class is literally like a French fry to ketchup. It's a delivery system. The class delivers the talents and the powers and the skills in a way that the player is now representing. And you can multi-class. You can be, there's only 10 levels available to you, and only one of your classes can be level 5 or higher. So choose wisely if you're going to multi-class, but you can multi-class. So now you can start making, Batman, Spider-Man, and all that kind of stuff. Have fun with it, right? So this is the idea. This is how I'm doing it. And it's working well.
What do you do about like skills? Do you do that, or
You have
is
just
it
a
just
basic
like
skill list, and added one step to them, which is basically, so in 5e, the problem with skills is you either have the skill, it's binary. You either have it or you don't, right?
Mhm.
What I'm doing is I'm adding you have it, and then later you can improve it to make it an expertise, and that gives you advantage when you're rolling that skill. So
Okay.
that's the way you can do that sort of thing. Or is it that? I can remember expertise. I got to look it up again. I wrote it down. And also I allow you to take specialties in skills. So you could have science as a skill.
Mhm.
You could take expertise in science. You're really good at science, but you have a specialty in computers, microengineering, biology, whatever the
Yeah,
case may be.
that was like the biggest flaw with V&V, which was, and still is, my Desert Island game. I could literally run any game, any genre. I could run Western using V&V. But it broke down when you went to the skills. It gave you that you roll percent and you got like a background or whatever. You're a
Yeah,
scientist.
yeah.
Okay, well, what does that freaking mean? Well, just
The
make it
hell are
work.
you talking about, man? What are you, it's a scientist? What is that? What is this guy? Hey,
Hey
Janet.
Janet, how you doing? Welcome to the show. Always nice to see you. Off grid, welcome back. Ba-ba-ba-ba.
Hopefully it works a little better this time.
Well, we'll find out
Yeah.
when I talk. No echo. I'm happy.
No
Because
echo?
I hate repeating myself. No echo. I hate repeating myself, and I hate when somebody else does it for me. Um,
I had this camera switched the right way, and then it decides to switch itself around all over again, just for the
well,
hell
it
of it.
wants to show off that lovely, lovely freaking spread you got going there, man.
Well,
Gorgeous.
it's behind me.
I mean,
Now you can barely see into the woods. It's all like greenery.
right now, I'm looking at more trees than I've seen. Well, that's not true. You got a lot of trees. Just saying. I have to travel to get to that
Oh yeah.
many. You got your
Where I
firewood
was
already. Nice.
wanted to build my place was up in there, way up in there. But I'm thinking I might build a little place up in here. So I need my own spot, like my own little like fortress of solitude, separate from
Every man
everyone.
needs it.
Yeah. So it's just going to be a small little place, like maybe even like a 16 by 20 with just like a single slope roof to the back.
Mm-hmm.
Just a place to chill. It's not even gonna have hydro. It's just gonna have a Honda 2200 and a couple little batteries and some lights strung up. Sorry, I gotta get some tick spray. Was at a funeral yesterday, and we took it with us because it's a rural cemetery we were at, so we figured it probably gets deer in it. So got this fun stuff. Atlantic outdoor spray, lemongrass.
I have never seen an actual tick in real life. Only photographs, and yeah.
Oh, they're horrible. We don't get too many here because we're on the Shield, and it's
Yes.
kind of an inhospitable environment for them. And we have tons of wild turkey, woods, and like little pheasant and stuff that eat them.
You must
Okay.
have a lot of
So
black flies up there, though, eh?
we have a ton right now. It's mosquitoes that are bad,
Oh, really? Huh.
but then we have all these like dragonflies that are flying around.
Yes.
There's a
Dragonflies
big
are the
guy
best.
there.
I
I
always
call them
thought North
Dragon
Ontario was.
Force.
I always thought that black flies were a bigger problem up in northern Ontario than say here in
They
Quebec.
are
But,
at times.
Okay.
Usually this time of the year they are terrible, but they're the first thing you have to deal with in May. Once the water gets really running and the thaws and all these little creeks and streams, they breed like crazy. But we had this longer, colder spring this year, which I think
Well,
did a number
good.
on the
Tell
black
me
fly
about it.
season.
Holy shit! It is like unseasonably cold here up here in the high desert. We've been
That's
wearing
where I game
sweaters and
from,
jackets. And
in that room.
the only thing I have to worry about here are black widow spiders,
Oof,
which are
fair worry.
not a big. That's a worry. Yes, yes. Um, and carpenter bees.
I'm sorry, carpenter
So,
Oh,
bees?
yes.
The fuck's it? I've heard of carpenter ants. I don't know what the fuck a carpenter bee is.
they'll tunnel
Imagine.
into your house and probably build into your framing.
Yeah, yeah. I literally watched a carpenter bee in the blink of an eye. I kid you not. It went up to this chunk of wood that was out in the backyard, and it decided to just like burrow into it. In the blink of an eye, it created a hole I could stick my freaking thumb in up to the almost the second knuckle. I didn't because he was in there, but when he left, I'm like, oh my god, that is amazing. Imagine what it would do to your flesh.
Yeah,
Well, good thing they only eat wood and not flesh.
Right, right. But I was thinking, okay, I got to make a monster. Right,
A flesh bee.
right. Because it was terrifying. I'm like, I had never seen anything like that. But the funny thing about it is, I've been here like 15 years, and I've seen exactly two of them, and they both did the same thing. And I'm thinking it's really some form of demon, and he just haunts my neighborhood. There's just one of them, thank God. And he just comes in, drills a hole, lets you know, hey, look what I could do. And then he goes off on his merry way and toddles off. Possums are tick eating machines. We used to have those where I used
oh
to
yeah,
live. Carpenter bees eat your
we got them
house.
here.
I'm sorry to hear that, Eldrad.
We, we, we got them here too. They do good work. The opossums.
Yeah, you. I suppose you could snatch them out of the air, but I don't think I would ever want to do that. I like my hand the way it is without holes in it.
You can't
Just
go wrong with chickens and guinea hens. They eat like a
ooh.
guinea hen will eat 1,000 ticks in a day.
Dude, I
They're
saw that,
noisy.
Eldrad. I saw that. I saw like half a dozen different videos of people finding boxes of ticks just being dropped
Yep.
off in locations. What the
Compliments of Bill
shit?
Gates.
Fucking
Well, he spent all the
scumbag.
money on the gain of gain of function on those ticks, eh?
It's just
And he also owns the Beyond Meat. So let's make everybody not able to eat red meat so they can buy my meat. Pretty simple. Pretty simple.
right. You don't have to be a Rhodes Scholar to figure out. Hey, I'm making fake meat, and I'm also doing this other thing that promotes the other thing. Just a vicious circle of give me your money and hurry up and die. Fuck that.
Yeah.
Never
Raise your
forget,
own chickens, man.
he was he was a big friend of the guy with
As if
the
you ever
island.
I know, right? I saved a picture of that because nobody believes me or certain people don't believe me. So I saved that photograph of the two of them like hugging or whatever. I'm like, you scumbags, you absolute monsters. But I also have a picture someone sent me of Michael Jackson, Epstein, another black guy, and that really famous old Mexican actor. He did a bunch of like TV shows, comedy stuff, kind of your generic looking, boot lip Mexican looking bastard. That my wife and her mom still watch his TV shows. He used to play like a, I don't know, like a special ed kid or something. I don't know. It was weird. He was like 6 foot tall, but dressed like a 8-year-old boy. I think that was the guy. Um, and I thought that was funny. I'm going to send it to my wife, and she won't know who freaking 3 out of the 5 are. Uh, yeah, I didn't see anything. Eldred. And off grid, that's a nice profile, but you are frozen. Can you hear me, Bear?
Yes, I can hear you, but they're doing drilling and stuff, so I was muted.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I it's like shit. Is that me or is that off grid? Chicken. At the WF, they were talking about a meat-free world and the alpha gal ticks years ago. Then it happens. You know what? Uh, there's nothing. You know, there's nothing they can say that's going to make me want to stop eating bacon and beef. Chicken, maybe.
No.
I could go without chicken. If they suddenly said, "Oh, all the chickens are dead. You don't get chicken no more," I'd be okay. Beef and pork, yeah.
Yeah. But chicken's good too, man. You really can't beat it.
Don't get
It
me wrong.
reproduces itself so easily, and it forages for itself, and it produces eggs. It's like,
Yeah, speaking of which, I just drove by on the way to church Sunday, and there was a woman, or I assume it was a woman, out selling fresh eggs, and I'm like, oh, we got to support that shit. Um, I couldn't build a coop on the property like I wanted to, but if someone else within short driving distance is going to do it, I will happily give her a couple of bucks for fresh eggs. Hell yeah!
mhm.
I don't think I've ever
There's a
actually had a fresh egg. The grocery store is not what I would consider fresh in any stretch of the imagination.
I could almost throw a stone. I could shoot a gun as far, I could say. I can't throw a stone because there's enough room around me. But like as far as it's bad phrasing, but there's got to be a half dozen places around me here that have like fresh egg signs at the end of the road that are like farm fresh and just have a cooler that you go up and it's an honor system out here. So you can just go up and nobody's watching you, put your money in and take your eggs home. Um, that doesn't exist in
That's
the cities. That's
No,
we still
they
have a
don't.
culture of that here.
How much do they charge in a dozen though?
$5
So they're
for
charging
farm
city
fresh.
prices though, but they're farm fresh, so it's the same deal.
Yep.
You know. The
Some
only difference
places
is
charge
because
less.
those are farm fresh though. If they're not washing them the way they do for their grocery store, you can store those on your fucking counter like they do in Europe, which is beautiful. Which
mhm.
is
Yeah,
beautiful. It
they
makes
can last a
no
long time if you
sense.
keep a film on them. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That's like the Europeans don't put their eggs in the fridge. They put them on the counter because they don't do that fucking
Bleaching.
blanching process that you guys do in the that we do here in Canada too,
Mm.
you know.
Yeah,
I
I
love
was
a world
curious.
where my eggs could live on the
Uh,
counter.
since we've gone into the prepper section of the show,
I gotta go.
I got some questions about things like that. You know, like where you get because you guys are both in Canada. Growing your own food, saving rainwater, raising chickens and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
all still legal here.
Okay.
Saving
All those things
rainwater,
you're allowed
those
to do.
those
Still,
two
there's
totes.
yeah, and there's no laws against it here. We don't have a government like your government that basically
Well, to
goes,
be
well,
honest, I looked into it, and the saving of rainwater is really only like a Colorado thing. Uh, Go figure. Everywhere else, they just don't have the manpower and resources to police that. You know what I
yeah,
mean? They
Yep.
they really don't. It's like who's going to snitch on you and why. Especially where I live. If it actually rained here, we would save it, but it doesn't, so we don't. But all the other stuff, growing fruits and veggies, we've got all kinds of crap growing,
Yep.
and I want to start doing potatoes because I saw how easy and fast that was. A box of dirt and throw in a potato. Next thing you know, you've got like 100 potatoes. I'm like,
Yeah, the
yeah,
crate method is awesome. You want to? Here's the bag method at work right here. This is the bag method. You see that?
mm-hmm.
yeah.
You just grow them in a bag. You can do this on a balcony, or you can use milk crates and stack them high. Have as many as you wanted. You could grow them on a balcony.
What is it? What are you
Buy
growing?
potatoes and go from there. Just to modify.
Okay, well, I guess he's frozen.
Right. The only reason they don't last longer than 2 weeks because we eat them. Yeah, I make sure we always have about 4 to 5 dozen eggs here, for whatever reason. It was awesome because when we had the giant freaking egg escalation of prices, like last year, whenever it was, where they
Escalation.
just went out of yeah, they went out of control. They were like almost $20 for an 18 pack of eggs.
I
Now they're
remember
back
that.
down to like 4. And we had enough eggs to weather that storm out. Next thing I know, they're back down to
Amounts of feedlot
which is just
chickens and
absolute.
eggs.
I mean, right? I mean, they really think we are retarded, or maybe we are, or collectively we are, and folks like us aren't, and we don't fall for that shit. But I was watching some videos on things that you can't do, or they say you can't do. Um, of course, that was
Bless you.
thank you. Of course, that was a lot of fear porn
Get rid of
mixed
the
in
nest
there.
up there.
I checked, and found out about the rainwater and other things like that. But
No, I gotta go. I gotta get back to work. So
Take care,
nice
Bear.
seeing you.
I will
Yeah,
see
hey,
you later
Blue
on.
Eyes. When I see you at ClareCon this year, I'm gonna give you a big hug, you fucking drunk bastard in the woods. You are the meanest drunk I've ever met. My mother was an alcoholic who stabbed me twice. Fuck.
I'm meanest drunk.
He gets in the chat and he's drunk. He's like, "The fuck you doing vaping, you fucking pussy? It's fucking blah, blah, blah." He's just being mean to everybody. And I'm like laughing because everybody else is like, "What the fuck's going on with OGG?" I went, "Don't worry, I'll get a message from tomorrow on Discord apologizing."
I'm very self-conscious, angry drunk, I guess.
Apparently,
Dude, you are an intense motherfucker, sober or drunk. I'm just gonna say that.
That's fair, dude. All right, see you boys later. Gotta go. Bye.
Take care, Bear. Yeah, I've been there, folks. In my D&D game, he's gone pretty deep in his cups, and are we still playing D&D? I mean, what the hell, man? Yes,
There's some good
I know
sessions,
government's
though.
corrupt, and I know who's to blame. Can we get back? You were making a saving throw, but yeah,
Yeah, man, it's the mixed drink sessions, the lost tapes.
right. But I know a lot of those kinds of videos are actually put out by bad guys so that you won't do those things. But the more we try to be self-reliant and do even just a simple couple of the things on the list, will save you. See, here's the game. It might seem like a little bit of money, it's only a couple of bucks. I'll just buy this or that, but you add that up over the course of a year, and then over the course of a lifetime, and no matter what it is, it ends up being thousands and thousands of dollars, and like I said, with the Depression era. Budgeting the way the folks back then during the Great Depression, the way they would budget their money, what they would do to get more money, and the rules and things they used to do and teach, and then they stopped teaching on purpose to keep us, drawn into this system of, debt. I literally
Debt
don't
and
owe
consumption.
I don't owe anybody a dime. I have no credit cards. No, I literally don't owe anybody anything. And I could literally, if some weird thing happened, like the wife kicked me out or something, I'd be fine. In a week, I'd be in a
Yep.
new place, 100 miles away, if not farther, set for life. Okay. But
Yep.
a lot of people I know, they don't do certain things, like I said earlier, first thing you take a check and you put you put money into the savings account, whatever that is, whether it's in a bank or in an envelope, which I found out was another one of the things I've been doing all my life. I have envelopes for money. This one's
I'm the
for
same
that.
way.
It says what on the envelope what the money's for, and
Hmm.
those envelopes never empty. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
They're never empty because I oversave and
That's your bank.
well, I have a bank,
That's
but
how
I
I
have
am.
when I pay cash for everything except
Hmm.
for well, even the bills that we pay digitally, I'll just give the money to the wife in cash. Here, you take care of this, etc., and it gets done. But like college fund or how much money I have for the rest of the month to spend on bullshit. How much money
Yep.
I have for fast food, how much money I have for groceries, all that shit is in different envelopes at the beginning of the month, and then at the end of the month, whatever's left over also goes back into savings. So like this month, I've got a couple $100 that I could spend on games, DVDs, books, whatever. But this month I said, you know what, I got a couple of things coming up that I should probably start saving for. Uh, I want to get some new furniture and things like that. And Jackie got a new car, and I want to help him pay for that insurance and stuff until he gets on his feet. So I'm like holding off, not spending a couple $100 that I could easily
Yeah.
just light on fire. It would,
Yeah.
because I've been so judicious about this. Even like a trick that I learned a long time ago as a kid uh, was all your coins. You never spend your coins. If you get change, like you
No.
give them $1 and they give you a nickel, you don't spend that nickel. Even if you go to the next store, and your total is something and 5 cents, like, hey, I got a nickel in my pocket, don't matter. I'm going to give them another bill and then take those coins and put them in a jar. I've got a jar for pennies, nickels, dimes, and quarters. That's what we use. And I've
If you've
never
been
spent
holding on to those for a long time, Shadow, then check them, because if you go
it.
back to certain dates, like certain coinage has silver, a high content of silver or
Yep.
a high
Oh, I can hear
content of
silver a
copper.
mile away. I can hear
Our
silver a
pennies
mile
are
away.
literally copper pieces. The old ones literally have more value in the copper penny than they do in the actual fiat value.
I've got about 2 cubic feet of pennies that are a minimum of 20 years old.
Yeah, so they're probably
Okay.
like 99% copper. They're like copper pieces.
And not only that, but there are wheat pennies and other printings of coins that could be worth
Yep.
dollars to thousands of dollars. There could be quarters or nickels or dimes that are the mercury dime or whatever. Things like
Depending
that.
what yeah. Depending where
There's
they were
all
printed, they'd have a different print mark and it could be off. The famous one I think is the San Francisco certain, I think it's a quarter that has an S on it in a certain place. It's like worth money or something.
Yep, yep.
Yeah, because it's off centered or some issue.
Good luck, Eldrad. Send me an invite when you get your Appalachian retirement gamer community. Uh,
Nice.
I'll definitely
I'd
come
visit
visit.
that. That sounds awesome.
Sure, but all these little tricks that they stop teaching, and will save you so much money over the course of a lifetime. And if you could teach your kids to do the same freaking thing when they're young, again, you never know how much money it could save them uh, in their lifetime. And
Hmm.
I was amazed because my dad didn't teach me like any of the tricks except the coins. You know, uh, he was always broke, but he was a big coin collector from my youth to a certain point. And then he just stopped because it was one of those things he just couldn't keep up with. Uh, and and my brother went and spent his coin collection, not knowing the value.
Oh,
Yeah, and I got blamed for it, of course. The Fourth of July rolled around, and my brother went and took it all and spent it at a freaking fireworks stand and just pissed it away.
oh.
And I took the blame. And for years and years and years, my dad, blamed me. And I'm like, dude, I didn't do that. Um, I had my
You know,
own
for the
money,
longest,
and I would have just asked. I wasn't going to steal silver to go buy fireworks. But the
yeah,
point is that I learned from going to the coin shows that hey, because this coin's got this defect, or it was
yep,
printed here or there or whatever, or just because it's old, it's worth more than the face value. And one of these days I'll go through all of them and get one of the coin books, to see, if anything's special, just write down, what you're looking for, in the case of pennies or dimes or nickels or quarters, nickels and dimes, so there's not a lot to look for. But either way, uh, I noticed during COVID that they were trying to pull that shit where, you know, uh, they wouldn't give you change because they didn't want you and them touching things, which was really not the way it spread, or there was no danger, but it was a preliminary test run for the penny to be discontinued because it was costing them, like you said, more money to make a penny.
I think if your coinage is out of copper and silver, you shouldn't have too many worries about bacteria and microbes spreading on it.
And next will be the nickel, and eventually it'll be the quarter, and then it'll just be everything's a dollar.
They used to
In
throw
dollars.
silver coins into wishing wells in ancient times because it would purify the water.
Yep. I've got a stack
And copper similar.
of silver quarters because I can hear that clink. It makes a different noise than regular quarters. And there have been a couple of times where I heard the cashier, reaching for quarters. I'm like, hey, can I pick the quarter? Because I hear like one in there that sounds weird, and I want that one. And it's the girl's like
Yeah.
17, 19. She doesn't give a shit. She doesn't
No.
know. I'm like, can I look at those quarters? Like, can I have that one? She's like, I guess. What are you, weird? I'm like, yeah, I collect old coins, and I need that one, for my collection of wealth. I don't say that, but a silver quarter, that's like what, 10, $50, depending
I,
on,
I knew I knew people in the 90s that were like seniors at that time. But what they would do is they would go in and buy lump sums of rolled up coinage from banks, because at that time banks didn't look for what the valuable coins were that somehow made their way into
Mhm.
circulation and back to them. So basically, this old couple would basically go and spend $100 on coins and then sort through them. And if they didn't find anything valuable, no
Return
harm,
'em.
no foul. They just take it back, get this, and trade it for another group of the same thing. And they kept going through, and more often than not, every $100 lot they'd find a coin that made it worthwhile, and they just
Yep.
start stacking all these coins that the banks miss.
Mhm. Yep. And right now, I can't even buy silver uh, within 100 miles of here, other than
Mhm.
jewelry, and that's worthless. You know,
Yeah.
sorry, but I mean, unless you're a silversmith and you're going to melt it down, and then why? What would you do with it? Uh,
Yeah.
but it's a shame that it's gotten to this, but I think it's
Yeah.
all inevitable. You know, certain things are just going to happen because of laziness, expediency, profitability, things like that. It
Yeah.
wouldn't matter who's in charge; those things are kind of just going to happen. But
Everybody's looking now, though, because scarcity is a thing,
yeah,
very much a
and
thing, going to
it
become
sucks
more of a
because
thing.
back when I didn't have money, 15, 25 years ago when I was broke as shit, um, I could buy silver all day long.
Yeah.
Uh, now, because there used to be a coin shop down the road when we first moved here, and it didn't even occur to me. And now that I could afford to start stocking up a little here and there, just $100 a month. Is that a drone or a plane?
A plane doing a flyover. Yeah. We're on a we're on a certain flight path, I guess.
Yeah,
Plus all
I'm
the
near. I'm 15 minutes away from Skunk Works and another 20 minutes away from another airport. So we get
yeah.
all kinds of weird crap. It's all planned by werewolves to get rid of all the silver.
We get a lot of the Canadian Armed Forces search and rescue teams and all that practice in this area and do like mock rescues and stuff by helicopter and planes, and there's all kinds of practice for that stuff out here. We had one plane come so low we thought it was going to hit those treetops, and it scared the crap out of our animals and Like it was just like, whoa, like right over us. And it came from over there. It just came, because there's a lake over there. And it just kind of came up the landscape and then up over this hill. And I swear it was going to touch those treetops. It was that low. It was like, we were going to call the military about it because like that kind of violates some airspace laws right there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But
That's messed
yeah,
up.
what can you do? Yeah, what can you do?
Get a catapult.
Speaking of what can I do? Yeah. Speaking of have a shrapnel cannon that fires forks and knives. Yeah. I got to get out here and do a whole bunch of work today. I was like walking around and I'm like, I only had time the other day to get maybe 2/3 of the cutting done up at this part of the property. So I got to get at it.
All right,
Look at these dandelions.
Yikes.
Yeah, we let them grow up for the first bit because the bumblebees and all the pollinators around here use them first. So we like to let them use it. Plus, dandelion is literally medicine. Like the leaves are edible, the roots there's potential
Something
to those.
we're gonna have to talk about next time because that's on my
Yeah.
list. I was looking at those kinds of videos, seeing it's like I got that in my yard. What am I doing?
Yep. Yep. Just make sure you don't eat the ones that you've sprayed a lot of poison in your yard or Roundup or things like that because they will uptake that stuff into the
The only
taproot.
place we spray poison is in between the concrete, where stuff is coming up. I'll spray that because.
Yep. So be mindful if you have neighbors living above you and their like yards drain down to your yard and stuff. Just beware of that too. Yeah.
No, where we live, it's flat everywhere. It's flat. It's freaking desert. All right, man. All right, brother. Have a great day. I will see you later in the week. Maybe tomorrow. Enjoy.
For sure.
Take
care, brother.
You're still connected. I'll pop him out because he doesn't know what he's doing or that he didn't do what he's supposed to do. My chickens love dandelion, source of calcium. There's all kinds of good stuff out there. Just waiting to be had. Apparently, a lot of ways you can save money. A lot of ways you can make money if you just look into what our ancestors did. Not even 100 years ago. They used some clever thinking and innovative ideas and whatnot to make it through emergencies. I'm gonna be doing a prepper video with Bo in the near future. Maybe have Off Grid and Grim join us. Big one right now. Go out and get yourselves, if you don't have one, guys. I saw one for like $15. Get yourself a hand crank radio flashlight. If you don't have one of those, get one by the end of the week and then show it off in my Discord because we're so reliant on our cell phones and those don't do shit in a real emergency because everybody else will be relying on it. And your radio is designed to the broadcast system is designed to weather damn near any emergency other than like an asteroid. And you'll get the real deal kind of information, not a bunch of speculation, not a bunch of fear porn. You'll get the real information. Yeah, I know Cold Iron. We our enemy out there is big, bad, ugly, scary, powerful, blah blah blah. But they still couldn't stop freaking people with bricks and glass bottles a couple years ago. So fuck them. And with that, folks, I am going to leave a little bit early because I need to use the restroom, and I got no one here to hold down the fort for me. So I will see you guys tomorrow. I'm not sure what I'm doing a video on, but I'll be working on that throughout the afternoon, coming up with something to share with you. Maybe it might even be a craft video. Ooh, that'd be a shocker, right? But in the meantime, you guys have yourself a great day, great afternoon. I will see you guys when I see you. Until then, happy trails.